Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon. Of course, if you have not been here before, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back. You guys know what is up with that. So in my last video, I did a bit of an Ulta haul. I now have some of the products here. I've used a few of them, so I'm going to give you my opinions on them, but we're basically just going to apply them together. If you do want to see that video and haul and the things that I purchased, I'll throw that like up in the cards in one of the corners, and I'll try to remember to put it down in the description box. I did pick up some other things from e.l.f. Cosmetics and Wet n Wild actually recently when I visited Walmart, so I do want to try those out maybe as well, so maybe we'll mix some of those in. And then I did have a powder from Shop Miss A or Shop Misa. It's like the Aoa Setting Powder. This was like $1 and something. I don't know, I purchased a few things from them. Actually, a foundation I haven't tried either, but I thought we would try this since it is something new and affordable. If you guys want to see me try some of it out and some of the Ulta stuff I hauled, then just keep watching. Alright guys, so the eyeshadow palette, I just purchased this. I purchased one of the bite size, the new e.l.f. like the quads. I got this one in Rose Water it's called. Really pretty actually. I swatched these and they swatched pretty nicely, so that's kind of what the shadows look like. I am going to be using that on my eyes today, and then in the Ulta haul, I did purchase one of these liquid glitters. I've been using this one a lot and it's really nice. It's called Flirty Birdie. So I don't know if I'll use this today just because I've been using it and I really want to test this eyeshadow palette out. So maybe we'll do that. I did get the new Wet n Wild Dewy foundation, which I said I wasn't going to do, but it was in store. I don't think they had all the shades, but I thought I would just grab it because it was like $5 or something. So I thought we'd try that in another video. But today we are going to be using the e.l.f. the Camo concealer. Or not the Camo, sorry, the Hydrating Camo Concealer, the new one, and we're going to try the Milani Screen Queen Foundation. I mentioned that, of course, in my last haul, but we are going to start off with eyes. So let's start off with the eyes. I'm going to be using, like I said, that little e.l.f. palette. And I do have a little mirror here. So this is really tiny, like, look how tiny this is. It's so tiny. So I'm going to get my hair kind of like out of my face a little bit. Hopefully my sound stays throughout the video. If you guys notice that I'm talking and it takes me a minute to actually cut in, there's like something going on with my mic on this phone, and I don't know, it cuts me out once in a while, which is super annoying, and I don't notice it until I do playback. So if you notice that happening, I am sorry about that. The first thing we're going to actually try is the e.l.f. Putty Primer. So this guy right here, this I think was around like the $6 mark maybe. It wasn't very expensive, of course, because it is e.l.f. And I was curious to see if this was like, I've never used the MAC kind of products like this, like the Painterly. There's a couple, Soft Ogre, a couple different ones people use. But I wanted to try a product like this. Like I thought it would be something cool to try on the eyes, and I was curious when it said Putty Primer. I don't know, I got sucked in. But this is what it looks like. I have been using this, if you can't tell. So I got the shade Cream. There was like a rose colored one, there was a white one, and there was like a deeper, like more of a yellow and like a tan or a deeper one. So there's a few different shades in this, which is nice to see. But I did get like the second shade in Cream, and this one works pretty well for me. I will say, I don't know if you can like see it, but like around the edges, it's kind of like, it's like pretty dry. This is a really dry formula. It doesn't really remind me of a putty. You really need to warm this up with your finger, like, to actually apply this. And I don't think this would work very well if you have more dry eyelids or a lot of texture, because it's just going to do a thing where it clings onto things like that. So this isn't my favorite. But I do think it works for shadows. My main thing for this is make sure that you warm it up on your finger before you apply it. But yeah, that would be my main complaint about it. It is inexpensive, but still. So we're going to put it on this eye first. But really the best way to apply this is definitely your finger. It gives it kind of that warmth that it needs to actually apply a little bit evenly. If you put this on with a brush, it can really drag on your eyelids. So that's kind of what it looks like. If you see a mirror, it's because I have the ColourPop the Ulala palette I'm using for a mirror. Even though I can see myself in the camera, it's nice to have an actual mirror. Of course, I got a fuzzy in one of my nails. So let's go in with this little eyeshadow palette from e.l.f. So I'm going to use, there's no shade names on here. Maybe there was. I tore like a sticker off the back. But I'm going to go in with this like little like kind of beigey brown shade first. Ooh. Can you tap into that? You see that? There's like some kick up in the pan, but I mean, kick up happens on a lot of shadows, so we'll just see how it applies. What kind of, ooh, it's really soft. Like it had a really soft feeling to it, even when I swatched it, so. We're just gonna blend this as much as we can up into the crease. It does seem to be fairly pigmented. I like that shade actually quite a lot. It's a pretty shade. I'm trying to make sure it's not getting too crazy. I'm gonna go in with this kind of like deeper sparkly shade here on the end. I'm gonna use the same, I didn't mention this, but it's the Delium Tools 785 Taper Blending. It's part of the Golden Triangle collection. So I'm gonna dip a little bit into that. These shadows are a bit like dusty. We're gonna blend that kind of into that outer part of my eye. If we get any follow, it's gonna be okay because I'm going to foundation. I haven't applied any kind of facial products yet other than a primer. It's kind of more of like, it looks more like almost like brownish in the pan, but I feel like it comes off a little bit more almost like a gray purpley tone. It's not bad though. Like I feel like it makes like kind of a nice smoky effect. Alright, so that did take some blending. I just used the same brush, and as I said, there is like kick up in this pan. You can really see it in this one. Blow that out. But it did apply pretty nicely. Like I said, I did take a bit of blending, and we are going to kind of fix this up. But I mean, for $3, which is I think what I paid for this, like $3 American dollars, it's not bad at all. We're going to go in with one of these sparkly shades. I think I want to go in with like this pink one right here. I'm kind of feeling the pinks lately. If you guys like follow me on Instagram at Shannon Shaw's Beauty, you'll notice that I really am kind of like into pinks. So I want to try that shade. So I'm actually just going to dip my finger in. Oh, it feels really nice. So that's the shade. Ooh, that's really pretty. On this inner part of my eye. Look at that. That has really good pigmentation for like a $3 eyeshadow palette, so I can't complain about that. Really, 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 really like that. It's really, really pretty. I will add like a little bit of this shade. In kind of like a gradient. So I think I'm going to leave it there. So I'm going to go off camera and put on some liquid liner, and then I'll come back and we'll kind of like do the rest of my makeup. Alright guys, so I am back. So I just like finished off my eyes. I will say my wings are like not perfect, but they're going to be good enough for today. I did fix them up with a little bit of concealer because they were looking like a bit not even, and we're just going to actually pull that down a little bit more. Whenever I make a mistake with my eyeliner, I always use a little bit of concealer on the edges just to kind of sharpen things up a bit. I'm not going to do anything more with the lower lash line. I've been really liking just putting a white liner in, and I used a Sephora, what did I do with that? I used this Sephora Coconut. It's like a matte eyeliner. I like this one. It's almost out, as you can see. It's really affordable on the Sephora website, actually. It's like the same pricing probably as buying something at the drugstore. So if you're looking for more of a nude or white liner, that one's really great for brightening up that kind of inner part of your eyes and making your eyes look a little bit bigger. I like to smoke with the lower lash line sometimes, but not all the time. So we are not going to do that today. We're going to jump right in with the foundation I have. This is the Milani Screen Queen Natural Finish Foundation. I have the shade 140 Nude Ivory. So this is supposed to be a luminous natural finish, buildable light to medium coverage, and long wear. So I did wear this once already. I think this is an okay foundation. I do have to try it more. I don't know. I wasn't like over the moon about this when I wore it. I thought it was decently long wearing, but it definitely is a lighter coverage, which it does say, so I can't really say much about that. It builds up okay. I don't think it builds up amazingly well. You're definitely at the most going to get like a light to medium coverage with this guy. I don't know. There was something about this. I felt like it was more matte than like natural luminous, which is fine, but it does say it's supposed to be more of that glowy finish. And you don't really get that with this. I find it to be more of a matte finish. So that's just my opinion. I do like the bottle though, so we're going to try it out again today. So I'm going to go in and just put some on my foundation brush. I'm just using a Morphe Y6. So that's what it's looking like. It looks really white on camera, but it's not that white. I will say I think this like oxidizes a little bit too. So it looks lighter when it first goes on than it does once I have it like warmed up to my skin. You can see that looks like quite light. Get that on there. Like I said, I do feel like this blends into my skin pretty well, and it does darken slightly, so keep that in mind if you are buying this foundation. So we're going to build this up a little bit in this area around my, well, not so much on my nose because I feel like it's looking a bit cakey, to be honest, on my nose already. I'm not like loving how it looks on my nose, but we're going to do a little bit of building up here just because I feel like it's still not like covering some of my redness. Put a little bit right there. On this one, I just find it starts to look cakey and it dries pretty quickly. All right, so that's what it's looking like with the kind of like 1.5 pumps that I put on. It does have a bit of a glow in the camera, but I think it's more from the lighting than the foundation. Like, I find it looks a little bit glowy at first, but then it gets like quite matte throughout the day. This is one that I don't think blends as effortlessly as other foundations that I have in my collection, so I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a favorite, but I'm going to wear it again today and I'll have to like update you guys. But like so far from the testing I've done on this, it's not like my absolute favorite. But you know, it's not bad. I just think that there are better kind of foundations out there on the market, especially at the drugstore. So I don't know if you necessarily need this one, but you may like it more if you're more like combination oily. With the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I have mine in the shade Fair Beige. This is a little bit deeper than the Fair Beige in the Camo Concealer. Do keep in mind, and I've heard a few people say this, that this runs like, if you're Fair Beige and the other concealer, you may want to get a different shade in this concealer. Because it does run darker, definitely, than the other concealer. Like, the shade names don't coincide together. But this one actually is nicer for me because the other one was too light. So this one actually is a perfect shade for me. And it has like more of like kind of that beigey pink kind of undertone to it. So I'm just going to put a little bit. I don't want to put too much. This one doesn't either, I don't think, have as much coverage as the original. So if you're looking for that like super full coverage, I don't think this one is going to be your favorite because I don't think it has as much coverage. But I do think this one has a bit more of that kind of hydrating feel to it, which I personally prefer. So it just depends on what you're looking for, but the original definitely has like more Definitely has like more coverage to it. So depending on what you're looking for, it's more matte and more coverage. But if you're looking for more hydrating and you don't mind more of a medium coverage, I would say you probably like this one better. We're just gonna blend that out. It does blend out pretty easily. I do like the concealer. I think the concealer is pretty nice, especially for, I think it was like $6. So $6 price point for concealer is really good. I wanted to try a powder from Aoa, which is from Shop Misa or Shop Miss A. This is a setting powder and it's in the brightening one. It's pretty tiny packaging. It has 7 grams of product though, which is more than like the Pat McGrath one, which comes in the big packaging and is like way more expensive. So we're gonna give this a try. I've tried a few things from the Aoa brand that haven't been like too horrible. So I do have some in the cap. Hopefully this doesn't like darken anything. I'm going to use a JH07. I'm just going to pack that on. It's like smoothing. You can see the difference in the two sides. And it did darken it up a bit, but I don't think it's like too bad. So let's go in on the side. Kind of like not scrub. Ooh, I actually kind of like that. That doesn't look bad at all, does it? Like, it did a good job at kind of like making things look like a little bit more like smooth. You can see that. Yeah, it looks definitely a little bit more smooth. I'm still not crazy about my nose. Like, ugh. I don't like that foundation, I don't think. That sucks, but you know, it is what it is. I'm gonna put some of this on my face because I want to set everything. This does have like a little bit of a tacky feel still, and I really want to put some powders over top. And of course I have like a liquid blush and I just powder my face. Or why did I do that? I have a liquid blush. Oh no. Okay, we'll make it work. Alright guys, so I have that all blended out, all that powder. Like I said, I do have a liquid blush to try and I have no idea why I put powder everywhere, but we're still gonna try it. We're gonna try the Ulta Beauty Cream Blush. I'm gonna put some bronze on first because I don't have any bronzer. I'm just gonna use the Maybelline City Bronzer and 200. So I'm gonna put that on and then we'll be back and we'll try this little liquid blush out, and or sorry, cream blush, whatever, it's the same thing. And this one is in the shade Sunrise. It looks really pretty. I think it'll go with this eye look. So we will come back and give this a try. Use the Maybelline City Bronzer. I love this bronzer. If you're looking for a good bronzer at the drugstore, I would definitely try this out. If you're fairer than me, like more of a fair light skin tone, I'm more light, but if you're more fair, I would try the 100 shade. But I am using the 200 shade and I really love this bronzer. I think it's really, really good. So we're going to go in with the cream blush from Ulta Beauty in the shade Sunrise. And I am going to use it with this little e.l.f. I feel like there's like a hair coming out of this, but this little e.l.f. stippling brush that I got. I hear Samantha Ravindal talk about this all the time for like bronzing up her skin and for like any kind of cream products. So I thought I would try it with this blush. So I'm going to put a little bit, just a squeezy tube. So I'm going to put like about that much there. Isn't that a pretty shade? And I'm just going to kind of dab this into it on my hand. Saturated, but I don't want like too much. So it's not applying too badly either over that powder. Like that's a pretty shade. So let me get a bit more. We'll go over on this side. That is a really pretty shade though, isn't it? And it applies pretty nicely over powders, so that's kind of nice. So I can see why she would like this. I think this would work really good with like a cream bronzer. The glowy look that kind of like gave to my cheeks. I think that's so pretty. It's a nice shade too to go with like this whole look. Yeah, and it applied pretty nicely with the powder. I will say the powder has made the foundation look better. It is dry on my nose, but it was before. But everywhere else, that like AOA powder has made my foundation look so much better. So I like this so far. And it's like $1 and something Canadian. Ew, and I did get another blush, and I do want to try this blush out. This is the Butter Blush Physicians Formula in, what is it, Saucy Mauve or something like that? Is it Saucy Mauve? What's it called? Yeah, so it's called Saucy Mauve. Like, look at that shade. It's so pretty. It's such a pretty shade. Like, look at that. All right, we're going to go on with a Reffer. This is, I don't know, it's part of one of their sets, but it's their kind of blush or like contouring brush. So I'm going to dip into that. We're going to go over that cream blush a little bit because I want to have those like glowing cheeks. Have a sheen to it. It's really, really pretty. Really pretty. I like a lot of blush too, so don't judge me. But I do like a lot of blush. Get the hair out of my face here. Ooh, that has a really nice sheen to it. Like, I like that. All right, so we'll put that right on the apples. We're going to take a powder brush and just kind of go over that so it's not like too insane, but I really like the color of this guy. Really, really pretty. So I'm going to take like something I use sometimes for a powder brush. This is just like an old Tarte brush, and I'm just going to kind of go over all of that. I just have my brows tinted right now, so I'm not going to do like a ton with them because I just don't really care about my brows at the moment. I mean, at least you can see them, which is good. I still have blush on my hand, but yeah, it looks, I like that blush. I like those blushes. They actually are pretty nice. So I'm happy about that. All right, so what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? Actually, I am going to do my brows a little bit and then I'll come back and we'll finish up kind of the face makeup. I want to go in with this Wet n Wild blush lighter in the shade Highlight Bling. I have used this and it's really super pretty, so we're gonna go in with this, I think, next. Alright guys, so I'm back. So I just went ahead and put some brows on. I use my favorite brow product from CoverGirl. It's the Ultra Fine Brow Pencil, and I use mine in the shade 710 Soft Brown. Really affordable at the drugstore if you're looking for a good, like, ultra fine tipped brow pencil. I actually have a backup. I love it. It's my favorite. So if you want something like that, definitely get it. And mascara, I did put on the Superhero Mascara from IT Cosmetics. This one I have a love-hate relationship with, but I like how it looks on my lashes. It separates them well, gives me length. Hard to tell, right? Things going on, but you can definitely see if I look up, you can see that does give good length. And this stays on really well for me anyway, as long as I don't get it wet. If you get this wet at all, it is going to come down on your face. If you cry, don't use this. It's not waterproof at all. I don't think it claims to be, but just be aware it's not waterproof at all. But I do like this one. Like I said, it gets a little gloopy, but other than that, it works really good on my lashes. So I'm going to use this fully up. And I actually like this mascara. I know some people like it or hate it. But yeah, that's what I have going on. That's the only thing I did off camera. We're going to go in now with the Hello Halo Blush Lighter. I have mine in the shade Highlight Bling. I think it's the lightest shade that you can get. So I'm going to go over my blush maybe a little. No, I don't want to go over it because this is more of like a kind of like corally peach tone, and I want to keep that kind of mauve tone on my cheeks. So I'm just going to go in with the highlighter over here. I'm going to go in with this Moda brush, and I'm going to dip right in. I like a decent amount of highlights, so we're going to do that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And this is like so inexpensive, guys. I think these are under like $5 for these little palettes. I actually was over in Calais in the Walmart, like across the border in the States, and I seen more of them and I was going to buy them, but I was like, this is the one that really is going to work for me. But look how wet and beautiful that looks. We're going to go in and do the same on the other side. Like, woo! This is a great palette if you have like a lighter skin tone like I do, or even if you're fair, I think this would work on you. Like, it's just so pretty to work that in. Glowy blush. We're gonna add some to my nose so it doesn't look as dry as it actually is. So I want some of my chin. Some people don't like chin highlight. I like chin highlight. I'm gonna actually add just a little bit of highlight to the inner parts of my eyes, some extra. That looks so pretty. Oh, this is so nice for like such an inexpensive price from Wet n Wild. So if you guys don't have anything against Wet n Wild or you're not cruelty free, because I know they're technically not cruelty free now, this is a really beautiful product. And with a lippy, I have two here that I want to try. I have one from Wet n Wild. I do have one from e.l.f. I've already tried this one, and it's more of like a satin finish. It's in the shade Creme. I think I might use it to lighten it up, but I do have one of these Shine lipsticks from Wet n Wild in the shade Rose and Slay, and I like this. I wore this last night, and I'm like, oh, it's like a shiny lip formula. It's like a hydrant kind of like balm. Look at that color though. Isn't it pretty? Oh, I think someone with like dry lips would love these. There's quite a good shade range in it, but like it's just that kind of balmy feel on your lips. It doesn't feel like drying at all, which is kind of what I look for right now. So I really like these and they were so inexpensive, but I am going to put a little bit of this creme shade just in like the center. So that's how that looks with this little bit of creme shade in the center. I think it's really pretty and it still has that kind of like nice feel to it. But honestly, I really love these. I think I'll pick up more of them when I'm over in the States. I think this was like $1 and something or like $2 or something like really inexpensive. It has kind of like the lips like kind of like Pat McGrath, I'm assuming they're copying from, but obviously the packaging isn't as nice. But this formula is really nice. So I would like to get these because it's like that balmy kind of lip formula. So if you're into that, I think you would like these. If you like something like the L'Oreal Colorie Shine, I think you would really enjoy these. But I think that's beautiful. And then we have one more product to test out. I got the Wet n Wild Photo Focus 3-in-1 Primer Water, the coconut one. I see Casey Holmes talk about this one all the time. And I was like, I kind of want to try that because it had like a really, has a really nice coconut scent to it. Like it's really nice. You don't get a ton of product though. It's only like 45 mils, but again, really inexpensive. So let's go in with this. All right, let's fan off. And I usually like to go in, that smells like so good. I usually like to go in with my powder brush and just kind of push product in. And so much. Oh my goodness. My skin looks so much better since I put that on. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness, guys. I think I really like how this look turned out. Like, I like how everything turned out. I like the eyeshadow. I like the lip color. I like the blush. This powder actually did a really good job at making this Milani foundation, which I'm not a huge fan of, look a lot better. So I would recommend this. It's like $2 or something Canadian. I love this face palette from Wet n Wild. I think it's beautiful. The cream blush went on really nice. And you've seen that I did powder my face. So I am impressed that this works so well. I have used the e.l.f. glitter shadow before and it's really pretty. I just didn't want to use that one today. This was really decent quality too. Not like the best shadow I've ever tried, but definitely not the worst. And I think it did a pretty good eye look. Like a quick little eye look. I think it worked really well. So I do like this. And this is the one that caught my attention. So I don't know if I'll buy more, but for a little itty bitty eyeshadow palette, I do think it's pretty. e.l.f. Putty Primer, I think for the eyes, it's not bad. It's not great. It is really dry. So keep that in mind. And you do have to apply it with a finger. Camo concealer, I've worn this a few times. I do like it. I think it's nice under the eyes. If you weren't a fan of the more matte version and you don't mind having a little less coverage, and again, these run deeper, maybe try this out just depending on your skin type. And yeah, I like the Physicians Formula Butter Blush too. This is beautiful. I already knew I liked their blushes, but this one is really pretty. I think that covered like all of the new stuff that I had. So I think we covered all of the new stuff. I do like this little e.l.f. stippling blush too. I think this worked pretty good. So good recommendation from Samantha Ravindal. I usually like her recommendations anyway, but I thought I'd throw that in there. But yeah, that's like the finished look. What do you guys think? You think it's pretty? Like, I think it turned out really, really pretty actually. Really pretty. Yeah, like I like it overall. I love that highlight. Blinding, my favorite kind of highlight. But anyways, guys, that is actually going to do it for this video. That was just me trying on some of the Ulta products that I purchased from my last video. Like I said, if you want to check that out, I will put it down in the description box, or I did have it earlier in a card for you guys. And I did try out some other products that I picked up while across the border that you've seen in there, that little e.l.f. quad. But yeah, if you like this video, make sure you do give it a thumbs up. It really does help my channel out a lot. Hit the subscribe button. I'm sorry I'm not super frequent in uploading. If you guys don't know, I am pretty far along in my pregnancy. I only have about a month left, so we're gearing up for that. I only have a few weeks left actually at work. But yeah, I love you guys. Definitely hit the subscribe, the bell notification if you want to stay up to date with my videos. I'm not the most frequent uploader, which you guys know, but I love you and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.